Bring us up to date with the latest developments.
So there's a very significant development this afternoon where we've had a sighting from a member of the public. That sighting was shortly after Daniel Khalife's escape from Wandsworth prison, and it was at the junction of Trinity Road and Swandon Way at the Wandsworth roundabout, where a member of the public saw Daniel climbing out from under the lorry and walking towards Wandsworth town centre.
Let's just look at that in a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
What time was that? What exactly did that member of the public say to you and see? And what detailed information can you get from that one incident that person witnessed?
Well, clearly any support from the public is really important, but this is a significant sighting for us. And so that member of the public saw Daniel climbing out from underneath the lorry. At that time, he was wearing his chef's uniform, and he was seen walking towards the town centre in Wandsworth. Clearly that will be a significant development for our investigation, but it doesn't stop us from working on lots of other leads. We've had over 100 calls from the public so far, and we're working on a number of leads, but this is a significant development for us.
It's surprising, isn't it, that someone can crawl out from underneath a lorry and then vanish, and you don't have any CCTV of it?
Well, I'm not saying I don't have any CCTV, I'm saying that's part of our ongoing investigation.
Do you have CCTV?
And of course, I'm sure you would appreciate that I can't really talk too much detail about lots of our investigative updates. But I will say this for you, we have a lot of resource focused on that witness report, but a number of other inquiries. CCTV is one of those inquiries, and we will continue to focus on that effort.
So after he crawls out from under the lorry, what do we think has happened next?
Well, the witness reports them walking down Swandon Way and going towards Wandsworth Town Centre. We'll continue now to investigate, and part of the appeal today is to members of the public who are in that area, particularly around Wandsworth train station and towards Wandsworth Town Centre on that Wednesday morning, is to call 999, and we will respond to any calls you make to us.
So from him leaving the confines of the prison to being spotted climbing out of underneath the van, what's the time scale there?
It's a short time scale, but it's around about a mile and a half from Wandsworth prison, so not very long. And when we spoke yesterday, I provided details of the route that lorry took. This is one of those roads on that route, and so it's shortly after 7:30 yesterday morning.
Do you think the Met should have been notified sooner that he'd gone missing?
Well, clearly that forms part of our ongoing investigation, working really closely with the prison service here. There will be lessons to be learned here, and I'm sure they will be learned. We're an integral part of that process.
I'm sure that's the case, but it was sort of 25 minutes, half an hour. I'm just asking you, as an experienced police officer, should you have been notified earlier that a prisoner was missing?
Look, he's been out for what we think is around about an hour. Of course, less time, he's got less far to go, hasn't he? But he's been out for about an hour. We're going to work with the information that we've got. We've had really good support from everybody, including the media and the public, and we'll continue to respond to all calls. That's part of why I'm here today, really. We are now offering up to £20,000 reward for information that directly leads to the arrest and capture of Daniel Khalife.
Now, rewards often are a sense that there are very few leads. Would you accept that there's very little to go on here, other than we know when he climbed out from a van, we know he was wearing a chef's uniform, but we don't know very much after that?
No, I wouldn't accept that. I would accept that we're working on lots of leads, over 100 calls, as I say, from the public. This is just a next step in us trying to understand, and for Daniel's information, that he really needs to hand himself in. We will be closing in on him. People with a reward like this, I'm hoping it will motivate people that know anything about Daniel to call us. We'll continue to respond, though, to all calls to us, because our priority is on finding Daniel Khalife.
We know he's wearing a chef's uniform, and I think you're going to be releasing some images of what exactly that chef's uniform looked like. Is that right? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we are, but I think I should just counsel here that, yes, he was wearing a chef's uniform when he came out of prison, but of course he's not likely to have been wearing that for very long. Some of the images we're going to release today are of other clothing from the prison that he was wearing, so we're asking the public really to look for Daniel, not so much his clothing, although for anyone that was in Wandsworth, near Wandsworth Town Centre or train station on the Wednesday morning, clearly we know for a time at least he was in his chef's uniform.
There's no sign of that uniform being dumped, you've not recovered it, anything like that?
Not at this time.
No trace of the uniform whatsoever?
I mean, I would appeal to anyone who may have found it or does find it in the future. Again, just call us on 999, we will respond accordingly. Clearly we're working with lots of partners in local authorities to understand how we might be able to recover that if it has been dumped somewhere.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, over the last few hours about whether he's still in the country or not. How confident are you that he is still within the country?
Well, we remain open-minded. We are still focusing our search in the London area, but we're also focusing on other areas of the UK as well. And we have excellent support from Border Force and Borders Policing around the country. I do recognise that some of that is having an impact on the public, and we're very conscious of that, so we're being very proportionate about how we respond to the borders. But again, we remain open-minded. We're just appealing to the public to help us, and we will respond accordingly. My priority is really finding Daniel Khalife and bringing him back to prison.
Sure. Do you think at this stage that he was assisted, or is there any evidence that this was pre-planned?
Nothing is off the table in this investigation, so we will follow any lead that helps us to identify how he escaped and how we recover him. And I have to make that really clear, nothing is off the table here. But of course, how he escaped was not likely to be a spur-of-the-moment thing. You heard the Commission this morning, no doubt, on the radio. There would have been an element of planning to this, and that will form part of our investigation.
We've also heard a lot about the categorisation of prisoners, and I appreciate you're not the Prison and Probation Service, but you are the police service. Should a man like Khalife, who was on remand for terrorism offences and
breaches of the Official Secrets Act
and national security issues, should he have been in a Category B prison, do you think?
Well, those are matters for the prison service.
Well, you're now trying to find him, aren't you?
Well, and that's my focus. My focus is on now trying to locate Daniel Khalife.
Do you think he should have been in a Category B prison like Wandsworth?
Well, again, that's a question for the prison service. My focus is on, as soon as it's reported to us that he's missing, that we do everything we can now to find him, and the public support for that is so critical.
Now, the public will be watching this, and we've been watching this for a couple of days now.
Yeah.
What is your message to the public about the kind of person you think you're looking for, and what the public should do if they see him wandering down the street?
Well, I believe Daniel presents a low risk to the public, and I've seen nothing that dissuades me from that view. However, he's a trained soldier of the British Army, so he will have some skills that make him more challenging to find. But nonetheless, we are utterly committed to doing so. So I would say to the public, don't approach him, and call 999 and we'll respond accordingly.
I know you had a sort of personal message to Daniel, don't you? In the prospect that he might be watching this. What is that message to him?
So my message to him is to hand yourself in. Either call us or go to a local police station and hand yourself in. With the reward we're offering today and with the amazing support we've had from the public and the media, we will be closing in on you, Daniel. You really need to come in and give yourself up.